Imagine your doctor told you they had a magic pill that would make you feel much better. It would improve your concentration and sleep, improve your relationships, and generally make you feel happier and more content throughout the inevitable stresses and strains of life. There would be no negative side effects and it would be absolutely free. Would you take it? I'd bet yes. Though not a pill, this hypothetical magic solution exists. It is called meditation. Interest in meditation and mindfulness has increased steadily in the West for the last few decades. However, most people still report having only a vague idea of what meditation actually is. Though most of us now understand why going to the gym can improve our physical health, we have little understanding of how meditation can improve our mental health. When people hear that I practice meditation, they often respond with "That's interesting, but running is my meditation," or variations thereof. That feels a bit like saying to a fitness instructor that walking to the office every day is your exercise. One can, of course, practice meditation while going about daily activities. But to really build this muscle, you need to go to a mental gym and put some time in. Attention, awareness, and emotion meditation is all about improving how your brain perceives the world around you. We tend to think of attention and our experience of the world as a single function that's by and large within our control, pay attention. But really, there's a lot more going on. John Yates, Ph.D. and Matthew Amur Gut explain it incredibly well in their book, The Mind Illuminated, a complete meditation guide integrating Buddhist wisdom and brain science for greater mindfulness. I draw from their explanation here. To understand what meditation does, we first need to understand, at a very high level, three things going on in the brain as it works to perceive the world around us. Attention awareness. The emotion network. Attention is like a spotlight, it scans the field of conscious awareness and picks out objects to analyze further. It then maintains their priority in our awareness, it focuses on them. Awareness is like a net, cast wide, rather than singling out specific objects, it is a general processing of all the stimuli around us that our senses can take in. The emotion network of the brain uses neurotransmitters to create basic signals like pleasure, stress, and fear. These three processes interact to control your experience of the world. Attention guides what you're consciously focusing on, but can be signaled by awareness to focus on something else, and the stronger the emotional weight attached by the emotion network, the stronger the signal to change focus. To illustrate this, imagine you are sitting in a coffee shop with a friend. You are aware of the noisy traffic on the road outside and others talking around you, but you don't pay attention to it. You consider these distractions nothing unusual and you would much rather concentrate on what your friend has to say. However, if there is suddenly a loud scream outside, things change. Since your brain has learned that a scream deserves an emotional signal, for example, fear or alarm, who just screamed? Are they okay? Am I in danger? Awareness and your emotion network combine to send a strong signal to attention to say, hey, focus on this now. You therefore stop listening to your friend and look outside to see what's going on. Modern life has overdeveloped our emotion networks, and underdeveloped our attention. Old brain, new stress. The trouble is, this way of processing the world evolved way back when humans were living a hunter-gatherer life in the wilderness, and how our brains work have not changed much since. Society and technology have developed faster than our brains can keep up. As a result, we're quite poorly designed for the world we now live in. A rush of dopamine used to follow the stimulus of an unexpectedly sweet berry, it now comes in response to a social media like. A rush of fear or stress used to be a useful burst to incite us to escape a bear, it is now what we feel in response to a work deadline. As a result of this mismatch between brain and society, the three processes I mentioned before, attention, awareness, and the emotion network, are out of balance. Modern life has overdeveloped our emotion networks, and underdeveloped our attention. And in fact, over time the emotion network bypasses any conscious processing at all. Instead, it just fires straight to the prefrontal cortex, driving our behavioral response without us being aware of the cause for our behavior. So what, you might ask? Well, the so what is that we are more likely to be addicted to our smartphones, which are designed to hijack our attention, or to be unable to focus on one thing for long. We're also less likely to be emotionally healthy. Let's imagine your partner had a bad day at work and complains about the food you made for dinner. With a supercharged emotion network, there's a shortcut from the emotional signal of irritation you feel to your response. Without realizing what's happening, you are more likely to view the criticism as a personal attack and become either angry or upset. Finally, a sad but common side effect is the increased likelihood of anxiety and depression. Because there are so many stressful stimuli around, work, family pressure, money, commuting, our emotion network gets really good at firing stress signals. But unlike a bear, which might appear but then go away once you've escaped, allowing your stress response to fade, modern-day stressful stimuli stick around. This makes for a continuously active stress network, which can cause anxiety, depression, and burnout. How meditation helps. By training our minds using meditation, we can develop two specific, and important, skills. First, meditation develops our attention. In the stillness of meditation, we can train and strengthen our attention by focusing on something relatively boring but consistent, for example, the breath, and whenever we notice that our mind has wandered, gently bring it back to the breath. This physically strengthens the neural pathways used for attention, much like building a muscle. Second, meditation stabilizes our awareness, and balances our emotion network. The simple mechanical actions of meditation, calm, consistent breathing and practiced attention and awareness, calm and soften the signals of the emotion network. In this way, our emotional responses, irritation, fear, pleasure, no longer have a shortcut to our prefrontal cortex and dictate our response. Instead, they can be more slowly filtered through our awareness and attention. After all, the emotional response is a stimulus in itself. Through meditation, we can learn to observe it, rather than be driven by it. When you develop this skill more and more, you become a lot more aware of your thoughts and emotions coming and going in your mind, which means that you react more objectively and less personally to them. The benefits of regular practice: as you develop these skills, your mind becomes increasingly powerful. When you start meditating, the first things you will likely notice are improved focus and less distraction. This will probably mean that you become more productive, among other things. This second thing you will notice over time is that you feel more happy and content, your mind stops constantly jumping around to different worries and anxieties and is altogether a lot calmer. In the longer term, as your mindfulness practice continues to grow, you will become more aware of your thoughts and emotions moment by moment, such that you can react more objectively to all situations that life throws at you. Imagine you're like a body of water, and life's circumstances and situations are like waves. Without mediation, you're like a puddle, the slightest wave will disturb all the water particles. With meditation, you're like a deep lake, a wave can pass over the top of you, but beneath it you have a deep reservoir of calm. The time to start is now. There are several tools available to help you start your meditation journey, including apps, Headspace, Calm, and Insight Timer to name a few, and books, of course. I highly recommend The Mind Illuminated, as well as Daniel Goleman's The Science of Meditation, How to Change Your Brain, Mind, and Body. However you begin, consistency is what matters. In the same way that going to the gym once a month is of limited use, you truly access the benefits of meditation through regular practice, and ideally once a day. Meditation is nothing less than an exploration into your own mind. The more you practice both attention and awareness, the better you come to understand yourself and the more compassionate you become. The nature of this transformation is beautifully described by T.S. Eliot in Little Gidding. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the very first time.